heard it online and you think there's no rival. You want it for your collection, but have you heard it on vinyl? Hello and Happy New Year from But Have You Heard It on Vinyl. Hope everyone had a lovely Christmas and New Year. Hello, Danny.
Hello, Happy New Year, sir.
How was your one? How was Christmas? How was New Year?
It's not been bad, but it feels like it's been a long-ass time since I was at work. It's been almost 2 weeks, and it's a long time to have off in it. When you haven't got a lot going on, a bit bored, got to be honest. I fell into a routine of just sort of like afternoon naps, drinking every night, picking up food. Yeah, really not done a fat lot. Watched a lot of telly. I mean, I'll watch a lot of telly anyway, but Jesus. There's an Olympics in telly watching this Christmas. I think I'm on the podium.
Oh, well, I've got kids, so I can never not be busy, I think. No, Christmas Day, I think my son barged in at 4 o'clock in the morning and I literally just went, no, not happening, go to bed.
No.
But my brother was here, so they basically kidnapped him first thing in the morning and made him watch telly until 7:30 when we finally allowed them to wake us up. So that wasn't too bad. Christmas Day's always busy though, because I think my mum and dad I think my mum's kind of stopped doing the cooking now, so it kind of falls on my wife. So it's just one of those days where at the end of it we're just exhausted because we haven't stopped. Like, she pretty much does the prep and the cooking and stuff, and I'm there helping, and then I do all the clearing up as we go to make sure that come after dinner we're done, tap out, you guys can just nibble on whatever shit's around the house. And
you haven't stopped. I stopped on the 23rd and I haven't started again yet.
No, but apart from that, it's been alright. Like, in between, my daughter's been keeping me busy. She made me been writing a song with her.
Oh, you did send me that. I did mean to listen to it. I forgot.
Yeah, it's something she wrote. I think she started it about a year ago. She wrote the lyrics and I've had to work out a bit of a tune. I think originally I kind of went a bit too rock, so I've had to make it a bit more poppy and something that she'd actually want to listen to. So I had to try and learn piano, which I can play very, very basic, so it took me a long time to get it done. But no, it's been good fun. And apart from that, I've kind of New Year's did nothing. I don't do anything at New Year's.
No. Do you know, most people I speak to don't know.
Yeah, we were asleep by about 10:30.
I was half awake, sort of post nap stupor. As I have been most days.
But no, it's been fun. Like, we've got the last couple of days now. I'm not back until Monday, and then that's just going to be a slow. Our industry doesn't really kick off properly, so the first couple of days.
It's like a sleepy wake up time, isn't it?
A little bit.
Same with us with the landscaping. It's just you get in, you get to your desk. Oh, right, what have I missed? What's going on? There's no sort of urgency to come on. Let's get going.
Well, just before Christmas, there was so little work for the lads. I think they pretty much mopped up anything that was outstanding before we finished. So there's probably not much to come back to. So wait and see. But apart from that, I've been really busy. I've listened to quite a bit of music. I got some albums for Christmas, and I had some vouchers, so I bought some stuff. So I've got plenty to talk about.
It's going to be a long one, folks.
Yeah. No, so obviously this week we've got the vinyl alphabet, which was you, which I don't think we've got too many, or you might have more than I do. So we've got a few of those.
I've got a few by maybe a handful of bands, but a few by one of them, which is one of the ones I've picked.
Okay, and then we've got a feature, which this time's going to be 90s American alt rock, which I think I had more interest in and found it more interesting than I think around in the UK. It was a lot of... The Britpop was just starting to sort of come in, and those sort of bands. So it was the tail end of what they call the baggy era and into Britpop over here. And I think in America, they seem to be a little bit more interesting than they are coming out the hardcore and that side of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right. Well, let's just crack on. If you want to, I can do a few, you do a few, or if you want to just get into it, whichever, I don't mind.
Let's go for it. Let's see how it goes.
All right. Well, look, I'll start with... I got some Christmas presents. Christmas presents are always good. I think I said in the last one, because I'd already been given it because I think it was a birthday one, I completed my sword collection. So this was the last one that I was outstanding.
Sword the band, not the weapon?
Sword the band, yeah. No, I didn't get a big sword for Christmas. That would have been cool.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, sorry. And this one's Gods of the Earth, which is their second album. I love it. I think it's great. To be honest, I don't think they've really done a bad one. I think their last album, I found it a little bit of a... it's not quite as heavy and as riffy as the other ones, but this one I really do enjoy. I think this is when they sort of came into their own. The first album, from what I can gather, was more the vocalist who got people to play on it, and this one's more of a band effort. And this is the 15th anniversary edition, which it comes on a sort of a cool gold and brown sort of
another fabulous sleeve.
Yeah, they do good sleeves. This one's really good because I think the new editions all very shiny with gold and gilding and God knows what else. It's a really, really good copy. It sounds amazing. To be honest, I think so far their reissues, they've done a blinding job. Like the last one, Walk Riders, I thought was great, and this one's just as good. So it's a similar sort of splatter vinyl as the other one, just a different colour. So no, I was well happy with this one. So I've played this one quite a lot. That was busted out on my birthday when I had it. So yeah, Sword. So I finally finished all my Sword ones, and they were great. What else did I get? Oh, I think as you heard on the last one on my Christmas list, I went and put Poison Idea.
You did?
Two of my yeah. Did Santa bring you any presents? But these ones, both on the same label. Like this is, I think, when we talked about Fear the Darkness, I said about the reissues they've had going on with this TKO Records, yeah. And they're all like big, weighty versions. These are like double albums. I think they'd already sold out of the Kings of Punk double album reissue, so I only got a single one. But these ones are absolutely great. They sound great. They've got all the good liner notes. The other album I got was Blackout Vacant, which is the album after Fear the Darkness, which I think is just as good as Fear the Darkness. Still got Pig Champion and
The Hippie Slayer.
Yeah, like the first album, because I didn't realise that Poison Idea, their original drummer was the bassist of Helmet.
Really?
Yeah, no, I was looking up about it. So he started the band with Jerry A.
Oh, strange.
He was originally the drummer until he left in the end, and yeah, started Helmet.
Started to fear for his life, thought he might get eaten.
But yeah, to be honest, it's funny looking at the Kings of Punk album, because they're still not exactly the thinnest band, but Pig Champion is of a normal weight in this one.
Yeah.
And then he seems to have completely ballooned by the time he got to like the Blackout Vacant. So these ones are really good. I said, as far as reissues go, like you get a second disc which has got like bonus tracks and some live stuff. They all sound great. They've really put some time into the liner notes and the actual packaging. So I'm looking to try and finish off the Poison Idea collection.
Well, you know I mentioned Bridge Records in Brown Hills. Whenever I go in there, they've got the Poison Idea albums. Well,
yeah.
I went there again last week, and they're still there. Got a little section of their own now. Yeah, I still didn't buy it. But if you tell me what you need, I'll go and look and see if I've got it.
There's one which has got like a red cover. I think it's called Burn the Fire or something. That's the one I'm kind of looking for at a decent price, because it's like a double version of it. Everywhere else it's about £45. So if you see that one, let me know.
I'll bet they've got everything but that one.
Well, I'll let you know my collection list. So that was another one that was using some vouchers and stuff.
I do feel that after all my Christmas eating, I could join Poison Idea at this point in my career.
Yeah? I've got I'll do the last of the Christmas present one, which was the last album by Whitesnake I'm going to buy. I know I've been on
you're such a fanboy.
I know. Slide it in. But this is the American version. There's two versions of it. The original one, which was with the British band, had Mickey Moody, who was the original guitarist, and I can't remember who the other bassist was. But this one's got Cozy Powell on it, your favourite drummer ever.
I love Cozy Powell.
But yeah, this one I think they recorded for the UK market, and then they did a complete re-record with John Sykes and Neil Murray, who was also in Whitesnake at one point. They did a complete re-record with these two people and remixed it. So this is the American version where it's just John Sykes on guitar.
Have you heard both versions?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, I much prefer this one. It's exactly what we said before. The English version, it just sounds very tame. There's very tame guitar tones. It's a bit more just rock and rolly. Like the drums are the same. They haven't re-recorded the drums and stuff. They've just remixed them. The vocals are all the same. So it's generally got the same sort of pace because the drum. It's just the guitars and stuff. They're just a lot more softer and a bit more bluesy in the way they're playing. On this version, it's a lot more aggressive with the way that John Sykes plays. It's just his style. He attacks the guitar more, and he's less sort of laid back and sort of letting the space. I think that's just a different thing. Blues players like having a bit more space in their playing. So there's nothing wrong with it. I just prefer this sort of style. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I suppose it goes more in line with the White Snake you've become accustomed to, doesn't it?
A little bit.
So I always saw them as two different bands.
Yeah, no, I think everyone does. But this one, considering that there's two versions of it, I think this one was testing the waters to go, right, can we break into America? That's why they did the two different versions. And I think from what I know, I think this is the one which took off this side of things. There's the 35th anniversary, like they seem to be only doing the remixes of this one. But this one's good. I really like it. It's very, very similar. You can see them starting to kind of get ready what came next, 1987. But yeah, this one's just a bit more of a solid, straight ahead rock and roll album, less ballady and stuff. So there's some good songs on it. Give me more time, slide it in. Like, some of the lyrics are fucking awful. Spit it out. I wonder if you can guess what that one's about.
Chewing gum?
Yeah, you know. Dirty habit. But no, this one's good, slow and easy. Like, it does sound good. Good liner notes as well, as I said. Double vinyl, all on red. So yeah, no, I was glad. So that's it, really. I think, no offence to them, I don't plan on buying anything past Slip of the Tongue.
I will challenge you to one. It's the only Whitesnake album I really know, apart from 1987 and Slip of the Tongue. And that's the live album they did.
Live in the Heart of the City.
Yeah, and that's actually quite good because it's more up-tempo versions of their stuff. So at least give that a go. It's not a Sykes album, obviously. It's more the bluesy stuff. But
yeah, it's Bernie Martin. I said I know that one because when I used to go and used to live near him, we used to go around his house on Boxing Day and used to go and see it all up and used to talk about it and stuff. I think on the front cover of it, he's playing like a double neck guitar. I remember messing around on that guitar while everyone was playing snooker and stuff.
Oh, that's fucking cool. That's exciting.
I think the best guitar he's got, he used to have an acoustic one that he used to travel around with, and every time he met famous blues players, he used to get them to sign it. So it's this old acoustic, and it's got like B.B. King on it, John Lee Hooker, all these old blues players. He's slowly got his... Yeah, I don't know where it is now, but... So no, that was a good one. One purchase I got off eBay for nice and cheap. I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Flotsam and Jetsam.
Flotsam and Jetsam. I love that fucking sleeve.
It is awful.
It's classic.
Yeah. Doomsday for the Deceivers. This is the...
With those 80s sleeves, I would just love to be in the room. Either A, the band had no say in it whatsoever, or B, the band are in a room going, well, what we'd like is such and such and such and such, and the designer's going, and then he just draws any old shit, there you go, and they're like, oh.
It looks like it's kind of like Godzilla sat on top of Satan. I'm guessing in hell? I'm not sure. There's like skulls.
And then they get the final version, and they're all far too polite to say anything. Oh, okay, thank you.
Oh, this is great. But yes, so this is the one and only album that has Jason Newsted on it, where he pretty much writes all the lyrics. The lyrics aren't great, so I can see why he didn't do any in Metallica. Which one's this one? This is the European pressing, so it's on Roadrunner Records, and it's licensed from Metal Blade. So I'm guessing they're on Metal Blade in America and Roadrunner in the UK and Europe. It's a good copy. It's an original, so it's from 1986. Plays really well. There's not really much damage to it, just a little bit of wear and tear, as you would expect. So I was really happy with that one. I think it was like 15 quid or something. So I snapped it up straight away. But it's a good album. I think we were already saying the other day, weren't we? Me and you were chatting about it. You could see why they were never going to be like the next Metallica or something. I don't think they've got the big songs. From a 80s thrash point of view, the songs are good. They just hammer along. It is very quick riffing, loads and loads of solos. It's a great album. It's a great album from that point of view. It's just an old school thrash album, and they do it really well. Really high vocals. I don't think there's really a slow song on it. It's just from the get-go to the finish, it just hammers. They're
just one of these bands. There's so much great 80s thrash album. I mean, a lot of these bands got unfairly lumped in the Metallica camp, and we've said before, Metallica were just leagues, just miles above everyone else. But underneath it all were all these great bands sort of on the same level, and they all made at least one really good, solid, decent album.
Yeah, I went to try and stream the album after this, which I think has got Jason's contributions, as in he wrote some songs with them before he left. It's just not the same. This one, from what I can tell, is just far and above anything they've ever done. They're still going now, I think. They're just very, very different.
A lot of them are. A lot of them had a very turbulent 90s, and then coming into the new century, they've changed the odd key member, but you've got original members.
Yeah.
And they're still making great. You look at Testament; they're still going and they're still making great stuff.
No, but yeah, it's been a real pleasure. To be honest, I've not heard this album in a very, very long time. I remember my brother bought it. I think he bought it on CD, but I remember him playing it and telling me all about it and going, "Oh no, this is Jason Newsted," and like he was very much big influence on me with my music. My brother, like there was quite a lot of stuff he bought that I fucking hated, but then I probably did exactly the same. But he was very good at educating me. Like he taught me about black metal and God knows what else. So Flotsam and Jetsam, I just remember it hammering out of his room at the time, probably going, "Oh, what's this? This is shit," but it is really, really good. So it's one of those ones, I think, at the time, like, I never completely got into them, but you can see their influence, and you can see why they picked Jason. Like, he does some amazing stuff on it. His playing on it, I think, is really underrated. And he's probably quite an underrated bassist. I just don't think Metallica ever really gave him a chance.
No, I don't think they fully appreciated it.
Not really. Like, from a thrash point of view, you couldn't really hear his contributions on Injustice for All, because they mixed it so low and made him basically play along with what was already there. And then the Black Album onwards, he was literally just a bit more of a bog standard rhythm bassist, really.
Yeah, he was just there to supply the low end, wasn't he? There's no sort of flair to it. Oh, he does a good job, but there's no space for that in Metallica. It's not a sort of band.
But on this one, I think he's off the chain on this one. He does some stuff on it. It's really fast playing, really melodic, all over the place. There's a few bits where he's pretty much centre stage with his bass playing. So it's a shame they didn't use him more, because he's got some flair. Like, everyone talks about Cliff Burton, and he's on another league, Cliff Burton, but I think Jason never really got his time in Metallica.
No, really not. Really not. And I mean, the thing is with Cliff, he was one of the... I feel he was a founding member.
No, he wasn't.
Or he came in...
He came in quite early.
Oh, no, because it was McGovney.
Ron McGovney.
Wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, but came in early enough to have an impact and have his say. Whereas anybody after that was like, no, they're already established at that point, and it's very much James and Lars, and no, you do not do that, you do this.
No, Cliff was the one that pretty much, when it got to Ride the Lightning, he goes, right, we can do harmony guitars, and we'll do these bits, and basically taught them theory, and said, like, yeah, you can expand a bit more. So, because, yeah, from what I know, he's the one who, is it Orion? He pretty much wrote all the harmony bits and all that, so. Yeah, it's great. So, no, I've really, really enjoyed that one. Glad I got it in my collection. It's nice to rehear it again. I think I was playing it the other day and my brother straight went, "Oh my god, Flotsam and Jetsam." So
fuck off, get your own.
Yeah, nah, it's been good. And the very last thing I wanted to talk about is because last year in our roundup episode we did say about albums that disappointed, and I ended up choosing either Biffy or Rise Against. But stupidly, I had one in my collection that I'd bought and I hadn't actually listened to until after we'd done the episode, and it was only like a week ago that I played it. And No Effects, I think I've said before, they're done as a band. They're not touring anymore, but they're still doing releases. I think they do have a final album to release, but at the moment they're doing something called A to Z. So there's 3 releases, A to H, H to whatever, and then the last one. This one really, really disappointed me. I put it on going, oh, cool. And I think they released a single from it, which was meant to be the last song they've ever recorded, called Barcelona. And basically the way it is each song going through will start with the letter A, B, C, and that's how they're doing it. So these are the ones starting from A to H. And apart from 3 new songs, which no one's heard before, one of them is not even one of their songs, I think it's a cover. The rest of the album is just full of demos of songs which we've already got. So lesser versions of ones that you already own, and then one song that's already on another release anyway. So I think we were just saying, it's like they are very much scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like, I don't think I'm really going to play this. Like, the 3 songs, the new ones, or the ones I haven't heard before, really enjoyed them. Barcelona, which was their last ever song they wrote, brilliant. Absolutely one of the best songs they've written in a long time. But the rest of the release is just, I feel like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel and really kind of taking the piss by doing a release by it. I'd rather just a whole load of new songs. If they're doing the same thing with each one, 3 new songs, some demos and some other stuff, I'd rather you just collect all the new ones and just have a new release that way.
An EP would have been good. You like EPs?
I do like EPs. We were just saying about that. But yeah, I don't know. This whole giving me demos, like, it's just random demo. They've only put them on there because they begin with a letter that they're desperate to try and, like, the concept doesn't really work. they've kind of gone, oh, we want to do this, and then they're just shoehorning songs in for the sake of it.
I say I can't imagine being a punk band. The demos are particularly interesting. Now, Bob Dylan, I want to hear his demos. You know, some of these other bigger bands, they're interesting. They're skeletal. When it's a punk band, I can't imagine they're much different to what actually ends up.
Honestly, some of the versions, the demos that are on here, are pretty much identical to what is on the finished album, because I think Fat Mike's got his own little studio, so he probably goes in there with the band, they play it through live or whatever it is and record it, and it's the drums don't sound like they're recorded on a boombox or anything like that. Like they're professionally recorded demos, and then he just goes off and they re-record them when they do the album, so they're good enough. I wouldn't need, I don't know. It's just, I was so disappointed with it. I was like, oh, I'm excited about this one. When I finally got it and listened to it, I was like, okay, well, that's just going to sit in the collection.
Yeah, I'm a lot more brutal these days. I've got X amount of records, and if I buy something and I don't like it, straight on Discogs.
Well, I'm less excited about getting the rest of the collection, to be honest. I don't know if I will.
Stream it first.
Yeah, this is it. So I'm probably not going to play that one.
Word, but it works.
Yeah, well, sadly, it's things like this that makes you go, oh, okay. I just feel like for such a big band, they're kind of taking the piss a bit.
It's a shame, isn't it? Because, like you say, we've got a big fan base. People are going to, love shit like this. But if they're going to do another one that's going to be just as bad, it is kind of letting the fans down after a long fandom, and then just at the end of your career, just throwing out shit. It's a bit
well, because they made such a big deal, I think, after the last concert that they were recording loads of stuff. Like, we've got loads of stuff we're recording. We've got these ideas for all these albums to come out, even though we're not going to tour them. And then putting something out, I'm thinking, I'd rather just the new songs or just don't bother. Either just say I'm done, and I'll be happy.
Or budget release.
Anyway, so that's my listenings. That's what I've been ploughing through.
Well, it started off well, ended up quite miserably.
No. It is what it is. There you go, over to you.
Over to me. Well, for whatever reason, going through the I think it's because I was listening to My Bloody Valentine quite a lot recently. I've gone out and pulled out Ride.
Oh, yeah. From Oxford.
From Oxford, yes, from the Oxford. And this is they reissued their early 4 EPs as one double set. It's about 4 or 5 years ago now.
Considering they're a local band, I don't think I've ever actually heard them.
I really do like this band. I think they're great. The last album's not the best. The one before is not the best. But these 4 EPs are superb. And then the 2 albums that followed are absolutely amazing. So yeah, I do put them on from time to time. They've got that sort of really nasty... They're lumped in with shoegaze, and they've got some really nasty, gnarly guitar sounds on here. A lot more abrasive than sort of My Bloody Valentine or Slow Dive and the like.
Okay.
But I can put this on. I can identify. Obviously it's a double disc. So you got each EP, 1 EP per side. There's only, I might be wrong now. I think there's only 1 song that ended up on the debut album. The rest of it are all just standalone EPs, and it's just great. There's not any sort of the early stuff's not very good because they were just finding their feet. No, they were just fully formed from the first EP. It starts off with a song called...
I do mean to check them out.
Yeah, no, you should. This is a good one, to be fair. It starts with Chelsea Girl. It's got that kind of classic sort of almost Birds-like harmonies, but with this really abrasive, scrapey guitar underneath.
Is that Andy Bell, who's now in Oasis?
Andy Bell, yeah. Who's the other main guy? Mark Gardner, were the main songwriters. But yeah, like I say, from sort of 1992, 93, I want to say, they were just superb, absolutely amazing band. I mean, they split up after the 4th album. They've since reformed about 10 years ago, and although they're all right, they're quite good. They're not what they were. They're just kind of more electro and a bit more poppy these days, a bit more palatable. So they've lost something, but fair play to them for being this good in the first place. Yeah,
I don't know how they've slipped through because I'm from Oxford, so quite a lot of the Oxford bands I was always checking out. I was a big fan of Supergrass when they came out, and Radiohead kind of was always on the radio, but I just don't really remember Ride. I don't know why. I
love the name. I think it's a great name. I love all their artwork. They just have these really stark pictures. And then on this reissue, you've got the booklet in with all the information for each EP, and there's a bit of a write-up on it all as well.
Cool.
So it's a really nice package, it's a decent thing, because if you buy the EPs individually, which I've looked at doing before this came out, they're sort of 30, 40 quid a piece when you see them at fairs and that, and they're never in the best condition, because these are the sort of bands that people play to, fucking death, and sort of you end up with a sort of VG plus copy if you're lucky. You're not going to find anything really decent, Nick. So to have them all in one place, in really good, sounded really good, brilliant. So yeah, really glad I pulled that out. It's been a while. Aside from that, I've got some new stuff.
Wonderful. What treats have you got?
Well, the one you found for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I really want some more Tragically Hip after talking endlessly about them the latter half of last year. And you were like, well, just get another one. And I was like, yeah, but you can't find them, because big in Canada, they're rare over here. And then I challenged you to find one album, and within about a minute you came back to me, there's a copy here on eBay. I was like, oh. So thank you very much. And this is, and it's from the US. I'll just give it a shout out because it's from the US. I think the postage was about £5, and it turned up about 5 days later, and it just puts a lot of UK shops and certainly European stores to shame.
Yeah, it's a
European
shame.
stores take an age, and then you've got all the VAT and customs and shit. And this was just nice and easy. It turned up. It's a double, and it's, I don't know which album it is. Maybe it's their 6th or 7th. It's called Phantom Power. And from what I gather, it's like a bit of a fan favourite. So, yeah, I'll definitely go for that one. And it's another brilliant Tragically Hip album. I've got 3 now. I've got another one on the way.
Cool. It's cool when you find something new, then it just really ticks all the boxes.
Oh, absolutely. From what I gather, that from sort of, day one to sort of end of the 90s, they were really something special, and then they kind of floundered a bit in the new century. They're arguing and stuff, and went in a few different directions. They got Bob Rock to do a couple of albums, and most of the band didn't like him. The main guy did, so that really rubbed. So I will get round to
Bob Rock. What strange.
Say that again.
I said Bob Rock. That'd be strange. I guess because he's Canadian, isn't he, Bob Rock?
Oh, is he really? I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's Canadian.
But, yeah. And presumably he was quite expensive as well. I think they got to a point where they were sort of chasing a... now they can come around and say, oh, we were never interested in the global picture, and now we were happy to be like... But at some point they must have been like, no, we've really got to chase the American dream. And I think they maybe thought getting Bob on board would help them do that, and by all accounts it didn't really. So I think those albums are a lot less fondly thought of than these earlier ones, but I shall persevere. I'm not in a rush to get these finished. There's a catalogue. I'll get a few, whenever I come across them. But really glad these are starting to come up, because there's more I've seen on eBay. There's a couple more on Amazon now, so I don't know what it is, because when I was looking 3-4 months ago, there was fuck all about. You was having to pay expensive prices from overseas, and they suddenly seem to be available, so that's a very good thing.
They've obviously heard our podcast, and we're like, wow, there's obviously...
Oh, there is a market. There's two people here. Well, one for sure, the other one's on the fence.
Let's get them out.
And then the other 2 things I've bought, again, we've talked about, were these Mother Love Bone reissues from October, which is the pre-Pearl Jam band. Singer died, they carried on as Pearl Jam, got Eddie Vedder, the rest is history sort of thing. And as Mother Love Bone, they did an EP and an album, and they're kind of considered, they've got the...
They're a bit glammy, aren't they?
They are quite glammy. They're considered the sort of godfathers of pre-grunge. I mean, essentially, they are very much early Pearl Jam without Eddie. And long story short, I knew these were coming out, and I was like, oh, I might pre-order these. Completely forgot about it. Completely slept on it. After a few weeks, I thought, oh, I'll go and see if I can get them Mother Love Bone, and they were just sold out everywhere. Just could not get them. So I ended up having to go to the US, and I paid a few quid for them. I'm glad I did. I've got the album. It's called Apple. I've got it on the 180 gram opaque habanero eco vinyl.
What does that mean?
Well, let me show you, my friend. Let me show you. And what does that look like?
Orange.
Yeah, it's orange. It's orange.
Habanero.
Which is fine. The album's called Apple. The vinyl's on orange. Which is...
Yeah.
What I do like about this, the label itself, you're not going to be able to see if I hold it up to the camera, but it's kind of like sealed over as well.
Okay.
With the vinyl, so it's like got I can't really explain.
Oh,
but it's
okay,
not-
so the sticker-
it is paper, but it's like been sealed over.
I
The
get you.
paper's been sealed over as well, so it looks like it's all plastic.
Yeah,
Looks like
yeah, I
it's
get
all
you.
vinyl. It looks, I don't know, it just looks really cool.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I've got these two. I've got to be honest, I'm not 100% there with them yet. I've not listened to them before. I knew one song that Pearl Jam do occasionally called Chloe Dancer, Crown of Thorns, which is superb. And I think it's probably by far and away their best song. But yeah, I'm not 100% convinced yet, but I'm sure I'm going to grow to really like that. The EP is a bit different because it's earlier, and this isn't. I mean, it's got Chloe Dancer on it, but it's not a brilliant EP. It's 4 songs. I'm a bit annoyed that I've had to pay so much for 4 songs, but it is what it is. I like it. I don't love it. This is on like sort of sea blue vinyl.
Oh, that's pretty.
Pale blue. Yeah, that is very nice. But yeah, Chloe Dancer's great. The other 3 songs are okay. You can see where they were going. They were very much about the vocals, Andrew. And if this guy had lived, he'd be a star because he's just a born star. Listening to this, he's got a great voice. He's really full of himself. It's just what you want out of a rock star. So when you said earlier they're a bit glammy, aren't they? I don't think they're particularly glammy as such, but he had that sort of makeup in him, like the makings of a great front man with a decent band behind him.
Because he was Chris Cornell's flatmate, wasn't he?
Yeah, glad I got them.
It's a bit of grunge history, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, which leads on to our feature today, because now it's led me to go and listen to some other stuff, and I'm back in that era again at the minute, so it serves the purpose. It's been good. I love the artwork on these as well.
I've never actually seen the albums, even the CDs. All I remember for years when I was looking at shops and stuff and looking at Pearl Jam sections and God knows what else, they only ever really had the compilation, which was all the recordings on one, which was like a purplish sort of cover from what I remember.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But I've never seen like the individual CD albums, so they've obviously been out of print for a long time, because as I said, it was just always the compilation. It was a bit like Big Black as well. I remember I could only ever find Atomizer on a compilation.
Well, I mean, the EP set, it's got a sticker saying first pressing since 1989, so don't know how much that goes for. And then Apple, it just says for fully remastered for 31st anniversary, so I don't know if that was available. I'm guessing not, because these are already still going for more than I've paid for them. So.
Yeah, as I said, I've never seen them out and about.
Yeah, they're worth a listen. You can see where Pearl Jam came from, because it's Stone and it's Jeff.
Yeah.
Those two have just got they are the real heroes of Pearl Jam, I think.
Well, yeah, because they came through Green River, then they did this, and then they eventually did what's it called, Temple of the Dog into Pearl Jam.
Yeah. And then, Stone went on and did his side project, Brad, which is great. Yeah, he's got a great history, that guy. I don't know what it is about. He's not the most amazing guitarist, but he's got a real sense of rhythm.
Yeah.
Real groove to him. It's really cool.
No, I always liked his stuff.
Definitely. He's got a very identifiable style. It's weird.
Yeah, and I used to like his loose groove records. He first brought out the Queens of the Stone Age and stuff, so he's got a good ear for things. So is that it? Is that all your listens for the moment?
That's me. I've bought some other stuff recently, but I'll save it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, well, let's get on to the vinyl alphabet, and it's time for this.
It's the vinyl alphabet.
And this week, we are doing the letter U. What U do you have?
To me, to you. Wow. Everybody knows I love Michael Schenker, so it was UFO.
Oh, okay, cool.
I've got quite a few UFO albums, and whenever I do pull UFO out, I tend to go for the post-Schenker albums because of, the over-familiarity with the Schenker era. So I always pick on, like, No Place to Run or Mechanics or something like that. But this week I was going through the years, and I just thought, I'm just going to pull out Obsessions, sorry. It always says Obsession on the sleeve and Obsessions on the label. I never noticed that before. But it's one of their bigger albums, one of their sort of breakthrough with Schenker, with a couple of hits on. But I just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to go for an album I enjoy, not listen to for a while.
Didn't they have Bernie Marsden was in it as well for a bit? UFO?
He was the original guitarist, yeah.
Oh, was he?
I think they sort of shunted him out of the way. They did a tour with Scorpions in the early 70s and saw Michael and they're like, oh, he's a bit tasty. Let's get that boy.
No, I love Bernie Marsden very much, but he was never exactly a poster boy.
But he's a good, solid guitarist.
He's an amazing guitarist.
But yeah, this is great. It's got this is an original copy. Weirdly, I only picked a few of these up about 3 or 4 years ago. I thought, right, I'm going to get some more UFO. I don't own any. I know them. I've listened to them all my life. And I went through a spade, picking up about three. I've got most of the Schenker ones. But they seem to be going up in value. This is sort of like a VG Plus. I think this cost me about 10 quid or something at the time. But you look now, they're sort of 15, 20 quid, which for sort of, battered sort of 70s LP, hard rock LP, he's pretty good going.
I've never really heard UFO, if I'm honest. I don't know why.
No, they've got a great. If you're going to listen to one, it's got to be Fawcett. That's the one for me. That's the one. People say Lights Out. People even say this one or No Heavy Petting, but Fawcett for me. But I mean, the one to go to is the double live album, Strangers in the Night. That's just a stone cold classic. It's got everything you need on there. So generally, I'll listen to that. It's rare I pick out the LPs. So that's what I did on this occasion. Weird as fuck sleeve. I don't know if you can see that.
I can. What is going on?
It's just a hypnosis thing. They did loads of weird sleeves in the 70s, didn't they? They did all Pink Floyd and shit, and it's just a load of blue-faced people with bubbles in their eyes. It's the best I could say about it. There's probably a hidden meaning behind it. It's the 70s Flotsam and Jetsam. But there you go. And what I love as well, I don't know why, but ever since I was a kid, the Chrysalis label, it's just blue and white with a butterfly on, and I absolutely love that label. It's just like a sign of quality. Because Schenker's solo stuff was on Chrysalis as well, and I just love that label. It's just been with me my whole sort of life. It's awesome.
Good choice.
Thank you, sir. What's yours?
Mine is, wow, I don't have many use, but this one is an absolute stoner classic, and I think out of that whole genre, Queens of the Stone Age, all these things, it is my favourite album of that desert era, and that is Unida, which is John Garcia's second band after leaving Caius. And sadly, they've only done one album. They did do a second album, which was all recorded, finished, and then I think American Records got bought out by whoever it was, Sony or something like that. And it's just been held and sat on ever since. It's never been released. I think the band made bootleg CDs and was selling them at the shows. So it is out and about. But this one's called Coping with the Urban Coyote. So it's the only one that they've released. And this is on Man's Ruin Records, which sadly is no longer with us, which quite a lot of the stoner bands were all on Man's Ruin. I think the first Queens of Stone Age EPs were on Man's Ruin, things like that. But this one, I love the sound of it. There's not a bad song on it. It's probably one of John Garcia's best performances vocally. I love this album. I think it's absolutely genius, and pretty much was the catalyst for my band Parama, along with Orange Goblin. So yeah, I just love this album. There's nothing wrong. I wish they were bigger. I managed to go, and they did a little Reform tour of Australia a few years ago, and I got to see them live, which was just one of the best concerts I've ever been to in my life. They're just so heavy. It's the low end. There's a song on here called Human Tornado, which I defy anybody to find a heavier guitar tone than that to start a song.
You know, I don't think I've listened to Unida.
It's on streaming services if you want to. They're probably not the easiest ones to get hold of anymore. I don't know which label was currently releasing it, but it's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I'm writing it down as we speak because I tend to forget about these things.
Yeah, it's only a 7-track album, 3 on the first side, 4 on the other. But starting with Thorn, Human Tornado, Dwarf, every song's good. There's some nice trippy long ones on there as well. I think You Wish is quite a 7-minute, 8-minute long thing, but they're great. And then sadly, I said I've heard the second album. I've got a bootleg of it somewhere, and the songs on that, there's a couple of re-recordings of ones on this, but the other songs that he recorded are just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Do you know, it's funny, as a frontman, just as a vocalist, he's very comfortable with being in bands with long instrumental passages and just being on stage with sort of nothing to do. Because a lot of vocalists don't know what to do with themselves, do they? But there's certain but whenever you watch John live, I've seen him like with Caius on many YouTube videos, and he just sort of grooves away in the background, just lets it carry on. He's got it down pat like Robert Plant used to do.
No, but the United one's great. It's a real shame that the album's been sat on. I think at one point they were trying to fundraise to get it, buy the rights back and get it released, because the second album had Scott Reeder from Caius. He was the bassist on the album. It's a lot more produced. I don't know if Rick Rubin was the producer on it or what, but it sounds... I've heard it. It's mixed, it's finished, it's a mastered thing, but it's just been, for some reason, just held in... I don't know, just held by the record company, shelved. I was surprised they didn't jump on it when the Caius Lives tours came out. Like, that would have been easy money.
Yeah, because that made noise. They're playing decent venues as well with Caius Live, so you'd think, yeah, well, okay, this is creating a bit of a stir. Let's get this out, because it's not going to happen again. You're not going to release it on the back of Queens of Stone Age, because they've gone somewhere completely different.
The album's just been held by the record company, so hopefully one day. But that was my one, so I've had that for a long time. I think my brother introduced me again to the band.
Your brother's like a guru.
He's very good, because I think he was always listening to John Peel and introduced me to him, and I think he was listening to Mark and Lard, so I started listening to Mark Ratcliffe's late night show, which introduced me to quite a lot of bands and stuff.
I've got 6 years on my brother, and as a kid I tried to introduce him to music and football and all the things I liked, and he had no interest whatsoever. None. Zero.
I'm quite lucky. Like, my mum and dad were always very much into their music, so we were always listening to Beatles and Led Zeppelin and Blondie and all these sort of bands, and then some of that bled through, and I sort of took some of my dad's and my mum's interests, and then John was always a little bit ahead of me. In the end, like, I started listening to more radio and started having my own things that I found. But I think it is one of the ones you listen to your brother's music. Like, he introduced me to Nirvana and Metallica. I think he was the one who convinced me somewhere in the 80s to go and ask for Guns N' Roses for my birthday, and then that sort of took off from that one. So I have a lot of... Weirdly, my friend... I used to listen to his brother's stuff, because his brother was a bit older than us. He had all the Cure stuff and the Smiths and that. So I'll go with my mates and let's just have a look through your brother's shit. Yeah, well, to be honest, yeah, because he was never into things like the Pixies and stuff. So the Pixies was all stuff that I picked up. Depeche Mode, The Cure, all that side was just me going, right, what's out there that I haven't heard, and just grabbing things and finding my way that way. As you do. Anyway, well, there you go. That's our listeners this week. Let's go to the feature. We got a feature, musical feature. Here comes our feature coming up now.
Welcome back to the show. Okay, so this week for our feature, we decided to keep it nice and easy. We've picked out a few albums from sort of late 80s, early 90s, the American alternative sort of rock scene. Missing out the big boys, your Nirvana, Soundgardens and whatnot. And then just pulling out a few and having a listen, giving them a bit of the respect they deserve, because they don't get listened to very often, but they're bands that you and I were both sort of there in our youth, appreciating and listening to at the time, so we've lived with them a long time. So it's been great fun picking a handful out and just seeing how we feel about them now. So
I think it's what you were saying, I think on a previous episode we were saying that it's funny that even though we like our English punk and we like our English alt rock, both of us very much looked at the American stuff and was like, they seem to be doing it a little bit better and a little bit more interesting around like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, and at the time, that's, when I was sort of 15, 16, what was going on here, you're still sort of 3 or 4 years away from Britpop, and I mean literally only took Blur away from that. Yeah, there was kind of a few things rumbling. There was the odd good band, but I just weren't into it at the time. I didn't get into My Bloody Valentine and the like till years later, and Ride and that. So when it's the cliche, isn't it? Nirvana came along with Nevermind, and it was just like boom, and then you just sort of discover all these new bands, and they all released a lot of albums around the same time, and they were all brilliant. And it's generally around that era. I'm just flicking through now. I mean, pretty much everything I've pulled out is 90 to 92.
Yeah, I would say.
And this is just a handful of them. There's so much good stuff come out at that point.
I would say from around, the 90s to like probably the cusp was probably 94, 95, probably at the most. But everything that was made an impact was in those first like 2 or 3 years, really.
So if we just kind of start with the years these came out, as I say, it's only a couple of years separating them. But if we start with Mighty Jesus Lizard's Goat album, which I believe is their third?
Yes. No, it's their second one. They did Pure, which was the EP,
and then
they did Head. Yeah. Head was the first one with a drummer, and then Goat, which I think is their sort of opus, really. That's the one which I think everyone knows.
That's it.
If you're going to know them.
And the sleeve, I still can't make out what that is on the sleeve. It's like a burning man or something, but
it's a naked woman with
it also looks
flames.
Like spaghetti hoops kind of thing.
It's definitely a naked woman.
But yeah, this thing, and again, this is something I didn't get until years later. This is a CD reissue from, I want to say about 2015, something like that. Just trying to look for data.
These are ones with all the bonus tracks. It was the reissued, the remastered ones.
That's it, yeah. Got a couple of bonus tracks on it, which annoys me when I put it on because I just want to hear the album as is.
Yeah.
But you just get there's a handful of live stuff on the end of it and a couple of bonus tracks and 3 live songs from the album.
I think it's with Jesus Lizards. They were just sort of a bit more the oddity in that sort of period because I think they kind of people jumped on them because they did that split EP with Nirvana.
Yep.
Which then everyone suddenly went, oh, the Jesus Lizard. And then from there, they kind of got put on a major label and they thought they could make another huge band out of them. I don't know what they were thinking because they're just not that group. I don't think they've ever really compromised. And if you look at the band, I don't think any of them really look like they were gearing up or wanting to be the next big thing. Like live, we've talked about him before. The David Yow is just...
He's one of the greats.
He's on another planet. Like, I love watching... I've got the DVDs of Show and whatever the one before that was. They've done a few like live DVDs, like early one, and I've got one with they did the reunion tour. And he's not changed. And even what we've said about recently, since they've done Rack, like, he just throws himself in. He looks like he's had one too many...
Well, the thing is, he doesn't... You can explain to people, he spends more time in the crowd than he does on stage. But he doesn't really just launch himself. He just sort of just wanders in and he just gets thrown and tossed around with no care for his safety. Occasionally he's back on stage minus a shoe or a shirt or something. Then he just sort of staggers back in. But the band are just tight as... They've got these really tight, concise songs.
Yeah.
And they just carry on. They're just like, he's doing his thing. We'll just carry on. And if he sings, he sings. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It's just... It's incredible to watch.
Well, yeah, and like the band themselves, I think you said they are tight. They're very much bass-driven. The bassist
I was just going to say that.
Him in the rhythm section, they just pound it along. And then you've just got Dennis... What's his name?
Dwayne Dennison.
Dwayne Dennison on the other side. He's got a very strange technique. He's a lot of slide guitars, a lot of weird tune-ins and progressions and stuff. Like some of the little riffs he come in, they sound like they're not quite in tune, but they are. But they really, really sort of work. And they're just sort of very interesting songs the way they've actually put it together. And all these, and then like the vocals sound like someone's put him in a bag and then tried to record him. Like they're so muffled and all over the place.
Yeah.
The fact that they were trying to commercialise them is almost insane.
And the lyrics are just very sort of literally just sounds like he's reading scraps of paper he finds on the floor, newspaper articles or something. It's I don't know. They sound utterly made up, but there's probably quite a lot of thought gone into them. Those things usually do have. But the music's that concise and tight, it can just get away with just freestyle, just doing what he wants over the top of it, and they just let him do his thing because it's the selling point. It's brilliant. There's no one else like that's what makes them. Musically they're very unique, but vocally they're just feel of their own.
Yeah, and they were very much influential on lots of people. Like you can see, like we're big fans of Therapy. Like all the band through the like Pleasure Death Nurse period, they were all wearing Jesus Lizard t-shirts. I think they even toured with them occasionally. They were like, if you look at like, talking about this whole alt rock thing, if you look at the lineup for the like 90 to 93 Reading, it was all these bands. It was your Jesus Lizards were on there, your Therapy from the UK. Like, it was just such a mishmash of all these bands. Like, they were huge and they were everywhere. Like, they were very influential, even if they didn't quite get the recognition at the time, which I think quite a lot of these bands were. Like, at the time, they probably didn't really explode as much as they did, and then since then, people have gone, "Oh no, they're amazing."
Yeah, and they kind of, I think they sort of lasted to what, about 97, I want to say, and then came back later.
A little bit. They did this one, and they did 2 other albums on Touch and Go, which are just as good. Like, their first 4 albums, I think, were like a perfect little continuation of it. I think this one went into, is it Liar, and then it was Down was the last one.
Yeah.
All those albums, I think, are brilliant. Really, really love. The next one, I think, is the one which a lot more faster.
Blue.
Oh no, then they went and did Shot and Blue with
That's
the 2 Capitol Records ones. Shot, I'm not so convinced of. I think they tried to polish it way too much, and it didn't quite work. They think they got G.G. Richards, or whatever his name is, the one who did Stoner Witch.
Okay. Is that the one that's G?
Yeah.
Which guy?
Yeah, he did Shot, and then Blue, which I'm a massive fan of Blue. They were never going to be big commercial bands, and then they kind of, the drummer left, and then they just called it time.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of these bands, when they were, the post-Nirvana rush, and they were signed to, like, you talk about like these, Melvins, a few others, they knew... They weren't after stardom, they weren't after the big dollar, but they knew, okay, we'll make a few quid here. Like sort of wheeler dealer sort of thing. Have a load of money thrown at them, and they go, okay, thank you, we're not going to change. No, you carry on doing what you do. And it fails, and the label's like, oh, drop them. But the bands are all like, oh, don't fucking care, you've just given me a load of money. Like Mudhoney did the same. Mark Harmon, Mudhoney says, I don't, we did the Atlantic thing, I don't care, it bought this house.
Yeah.
That's a tremendous album.
It is good. My favourite song on it has always been Monkey Trick.
Which is weird, because they say, in the book, they were all saying this is the greatest song ever written. It's not quite there, but it is a brilliant song.
That one and Nub. I love Nub as well.
Nub's brilliant. The riff on that, the slide thing, like you say, it's just... And they're so simplistic. Well, not simplistic, that's the wrong word. They sound like... It's that classic thing where you sit and... I could write something like that. You can't. Just because it sounds quite straightforward, you can't write shit like that. It's brilliant.
But no, it's lovely now that they're back. So hopefully they... and I said, their last album, Rack, really was high on my list last year. So hopefully they do more. I'd love to see them live. Yeah,
no, I've never seen them live. I mean, I wouldn't get anywhere near the front, I'll tell you that.
Oh, no. I'll go back to Rock City so I can sit on the sofa.
Just watch him go mental from the sofa. So let's pick another one. I've pulled out Goo by Sonic Youth.
Right, okay, cool.
Which I have a funny relationship with Sonic Youth, and I've actually nailed what it is I don't like about them. Kim Gordon and Lee Ronaldo's voices.
Okay.
It's simple, but when they do get it right, it's like Martin Gore with Depeche Mode. When he writes a great song and sings it well, it's brilliant. When he doesn't, you're just like, oh God, not another one. But on this album, the Kim songs are fantastic. Cool Thing.
Is this the album after Dirty or before Dirty?
This is the one just before. They'd signed to Geffen for Daydream Nation, and then this was the next push. It's got Raymond Pettibon artwork, who is what's his brother? Guy from
Greg Ginn,
from Black Flag, yeah. So the guy that does all the Black Flag sleeves and all those early bands. Yeah. He did this sleeve, and it's iconic. It's a brilliant sleeve. I had a T-shirt with this on actually. I don't know where it happened to that. I need to find it. But yeah, this is just, it's their most commercial, in a good way, album. It's kind of everything they did prior to this, because, Sonic Youth had a big career before this. They did about 7 albums, I think. Daydream Nation was a big bloated thing. Kind of work, kind of doesn't. This is very more concise.
I've never got into that one. I bought it because everyone went on about it, and I've never really got into that.
There is some great stuff on there, but there's a lot of... it's long. It's classic double album. It's too long. And then they just made it more concise with this. There's 11 tracks. Starts with Dirty Boots, which is classic sort of Sonic Youth, which kind of sounds off kilter, but it's not. You've got Cool Thing, which I just mentioned. Kim Gordon. Actually, Chuck D does a cameo on this. They were working. I don't know if you've heard this song, but I read about this because it's made. Probably Chuck D collaboration. Actually, what happened was they were working in a studio next door or something.
Yeah.
And they was like, "Oh, can you come in? Can you come in and do something?" And all he does literally is go, "Yeah, help yourself." He just says two things, and they just. It sounds fucking great, but it's hardly a collaboration. It's just like, what do you want me to do? And they're like, I don't know.
When you say yeah.
Yeah, but it's a fucking great song. And then it ends on Titanium Expose, which is just one of their best songs. I can't say enough about it. But yeah, again, great album. They were just... Sonic Youth are unique in as much as they had a long trajectory into where they were going. And they just carried on. They didn't have a big bubble burst and then just disappear. They carried on for fucking years. In fact, it was only a divorce that split them up, sort of 20 years after this album. So yeah, they go for a long time after. And did a lot more interesting stuff after it. But as I say, I have a fully relationship with them because especially Lee Ronaldo's voice, I just do not like it. It really irritates me. If they just let Thurston sing everything, I'd be a lot more into him.
Well, I think I said before that I took back Dirty originally. But, yeah, I don't know. I think I've not got anything before Daydream Nation. I bought Dirty, then took it back, and then bought it again and quite enjoyed it. And then I think I heard, is it Sunday, where that song is? So I went and bought the 1,000 Leaves album, that's the only real commercial song on it, and the rest of it is very avant-garde and weird.
Sprawling, yeah. Yeah, they got a bit up their own backsides. Their last couple of albums are fantastic. I mean, really underrated, fantastic. It's rather ripped.
Is that the one where they got another member?
The Eternal. They had Jim O'Rourke for a long time. He joined as a member. They made about 2 or 3 albums with him, I think.
Oh, I thought he was in it to the end.
No. They did 2 or 3 albums with him. And then eventually Kim whence basically just sang, and they got Mark Eybold, which is the guy that used to play bass in Pavement. He joined.
Oh, I didn't realise there's that.
But I mean, probably my favourite Sonic Youth album is Washing Machine, which I very nearly pulled out, to be fair. Because Dirty, I'm not crazy about. It's kind of half good, but that is their big commercial album, and it's very, very polished. Apart from the odd song, which is just awesome. But I think this was the best one to go for, because this is just when they were just on the cusp and the world was their oyster sort of thing. And you can't deny that sleeve; it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, no, I love his artwork. It was sort of. He reminds me of Liechtenstein, but in his own way. It's just very striking.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the little bits of text that go with it.
Yeah. That
kind of don't make sense. Like it's just the sleeve just says Sonic Youth LP, and then there's just a little paragraph with the drawing. It's literally like a cartoon. What do I want to say? Grid. What's the individual things in a comic? Like a little comic grid. Like it's been cut out of a
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool as fuck.
Yeah, cool. Well, you can't really. I think Sonic Youth. Yeah, the whole alt rock thing, they were kind of their own little thing, really, because they didn't really sound too much like anybody else.
And they were the godfathers of it already before, later when they were...
They were originally sort of art rock, weren't they? And then they kind of became a bit more palatable before then going back to just being weird and then palatable again.
Yeah, I found them a bit too weird. I've still got some of them. I've sold some that I just don't listen to, but I've still got a handful. And again, it's rare I pull them out, but when you're in the mood, they're really quite clever and genius, but I have to be in the mood, to be honest.
Yeah, I've never fully got on board. Cool, alright, so what's next?
I think we both agreed on this one. Breeders, Pod.
Yes.
I mean, very simply, this is just one of the best albums of the 90s.
Yeah, because I think with the Pixies, I think we've done the Pixies a lot, but then I kind of see them more in the 80s, and then it was just sort of carrying on in the 90s. Like, Breeders was... finally getting Kim to go out on her own, really.
Yeah, and it's on 4AD, so it's
same label,
Pixies label, same label, same brilliant artwork that the Pixies were graced with. It's just really iconic stuff. I mean, the sleeve, the inner sleeve, the purple with the weird fish thing on, it's just awesome. And again, this is one that I was very, very late to. The only one I knew of the Breeders really was Safari and Cannonball back in the day.
Yeah, everyone knows Cannonball.
But I picked this up. That's it. Do it again.
Boom, boom.
Exactly like that. But But I don't know what it was. I was always kind of put off by this because I was told it's not, it's not the Deal sisters. It's Tanya Donnelly. Yeah, when I eventually got it, because a friend of mine is absolutely crazy about this band and specifically this album. So when they re-released them, I was like, "Yep, I'm going to get it." I had to listen to. It's the same with any Kim Deal stuff. Once you're in that world, it's the most magical place, but it's hard work getting into it. And once you are, my God. I mean, this album's, and it's very short for what it is. There's a cover of Beatles' "Happiness is a Warm Gun" on here, which is just.
I forgot about
and
that.
from what I gather, they'd never heard it. They were just in the studio with Albini. They needed another track or something, and they were like, "What about this?" And they were like, "Okay." So it's like an abridged version of that, and it's just brilliant. And like we just said about Jesus Lizard, the songs sound so simple, like you could write them yourself, but you can't, because it's just this level of simplistic brilliance that Kim just brings to everything. And the lyrics are just out just from, I don't know where she pulls them from. It's just catchy, it's sweet, it's harmonious, with some really dirgy sort of stuff. The lyrics just quite dark, I think, in places, but you wouldn't know because she sings it in such a honeyed sort of way. And then, of course, you got Tanya on here as well, who's fantastic. And this is the only album they made like this because it wasn't till after that, like I said, Kelly came on board and they had more success with Last Splash and whatever. But as a standalone album, this is superb. This is 1990.
Yeah, to be honest, it was just, I always liked the back and forth with her and Frank, so it was a shame that kind of got lost as the albums went on. So the fact that her herself was feeling suffocated and had to come and do this, and she's done it well. I think since then I've kind of not really disliked any Breeders stuff. I don't think it's quite as iconic as the original ones, but I really like. Is it
There's nothing like
what's
that.
the one? Is it titled DK or something like that? What's the album after this one?
Title TK.
I love that one.
That was much later.
That's so dirty.
But Kim does not work quickly. She's got, I think there's, let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think there's 5 Breeders albums, and she's done a solo album in 36 years.
There was such a long gap between Last Splash and then doing the other, because they sort of stopped, didn't they?
And between Last Splash and the title TK, she had a project called the Amps.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Which is just a bit more aggressive and dirtier sort of rock and roll. But she, again, great album. She's never done anything bad, but she's very, very slow. She takes the time. She's very considered, which a lot of bands should take more note of, because some bands just throw any old shit out. Like, hello, no FX. She takes the time, and when she does come out with something, like she did a solo album last year, I don't expect to hear anything from her now for a good while again. It's got to have been 10 years since the last Breeders album again.
More than likely. But then, Pod, as you said, it obviously is touched and respected through different people, because it got sampled by The Prodigy. That was, yes. I think, Cannonball, wasn't it? They used parts of that on, I want to say, Firestarter. I know that it gets used a lot in his DJ sets when he's done them and stuff. Liam, he likes using quite a bit of the Breeders. They were just, they're in that sort of period. I kind of remember seeing them on The Word, I think, I want to say, and shows like that. I kind of remember they were just everywhere. And Kim Deal was she just looks so happy to be anywhere that she is. She never looks grumpy.
In my mind, she's just the nicest person on the planet. And I love the way she sings. I love the way she speaks. When her and her sister are talking, it's just, they've got this... it's just... Because they're identical, obviously, and they've just got this sisterly thing. There's just no barriers coming between those. They're just one on their own. They're great. They're just great together. And if you watch them live, they'll watch them at Glastonbury, I think it was last year or the year before, and you watch them play... No, the Breeders.
Oh, the Breeders one, yes.
Yeah, and they play... The way they play is just sort of so... Nothing's kind of... They don't look confident in what they're doing. It's just kind of like, oh, come on, 1, 2, 3... And but they're so good, but they just look like they have not got a clue what they're doing, like they're making it up as they go along. But it comes together so well. They're brilliant.
But I think she's always come across like that. I think even if you see... got the DVD somewhere, which is the Town and Country, the Pixies, and even on that one, I think you can see why Frank probably gets fucking pissed off of her, because He looks like he's like ready to do stuff, and she's just still messing around, piddling around, trying to light a cigarette. And
Frank's very disciplined, isn't he?
I know, but she just doesn't ever look ready for anything.
She's just like a whatever manana type person, and Frank's like, no. It's no wonder they didn't get on.
No, honestly.
Thankfully for that, we got 2 great bands.
Yeah, exactly. No. Oh, well. No, good work. Love that one. So what's next on the list?
Do you want to talk about Sugar?
Yeah, we can do so. We've gone into them before, so we probably won't dwell on them too much. But I think we've said before, him coming out of Husker Du, which never quite hit the mainstream majorly. Like they were always on the cusp there. And then his first solo album was very much an acoustic affair, and then he did that Black Rain one, wasn't it? Was that before Sugar? And then Sugar, I think, was everything that he was leading up to in one sort of very tight, concise package. And it did blow up. Like, it was very much the alt rock album of what year was this one? 92 or something?
92, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember seeing the footage at Reading Festival. They were there. They were everywhere. It was one of those ones that I don't think you could get away from Sugar and that period for them. They were just huge. And sadly, they did this. They did the next EP, and then they kind of pitted out, sadly. But for that 1 year and a bit, they were just they were on college radio. Everyone loved them over there. Like, they were getting exposure pretty much everywhere. He finally got the recognition he deserved for the sort of poppy side of him and the more more commercial songs that he can write. They were always in Husker Du. They were just covered in loads and loads of distortion and really bad production.
Yeah, they weren't treated with, recording wise, they weren't treated with the respect they deserved. But everything about this album is perfect. Like you say, the recording, the songs are there, and it was just like a victory lap. But all the music he put out, because he put up so much music before this, to finally have a big one was just well done, sir. Brilliant album.
Yeah, and he manages to tick all the little boxes between this and Beaster, because it's heavy enough that I think the fans of that kind of more hardcore genre could get on board with it. But then there was enough pop sensibility all the way through it that it's so easy to sing along to nearly every song on it, that then the sort of more poppy people who would like more, as I said, the lighter side of things could also get into it. And like I said, start to finish, there's not really a bad song on it.
It's that first 5 songs straight out the gate, bang, they're just like, is there a better 5 songs? Is there a better side A of that era? I mean, it'd be hard pushed to find one.
No, exactly. And yeah, he basically did everything that he was promising. It'd be interesting to see if they do anything now. But at the time, around 92, it was they were just everywhere. I said, I think over in America, especially, college radio just lapped it up, because they could just go, oh yeah, well, Husker Du this, Bob Mould.
Because it was a name already.
It was easy. It was easy to market, I think. So they were managed to get everywhere. Like, he was. Do you want to see? He's a funny one. That I think he's grown into his looks as he's got older. Like, he just looks so awkward when I was seeing some of the footage back of it. He kind of had his receding hairline and just wearing really oversized jumpers, from what I remember.
That's it. Yeah. See, he was a bit of a chunky man. But if you read his biography, he's very much, when he talks about that era, he was a closeted gay man that was just coming to terms with, all this sort of stuff. He'd had over 10 years on the road with a band at a mental, frantic pace. He'd slowed right down on the acoustic thing, and now he's just hit his stride. And like you say, now in this century, now he's very confident, very independent, strong.
Yeah.
Person, and he makes great music now, and when you talk to him now, he's very forthright. He just seems like a nice guy. He seems like somebody could just sit down and have a chat to over a coffee. Whereas then he seemed like a very agitated sort of hide in the shadows sort of thing.
Yeah, I think so. I think, as you said, I think he wasn't. He wasn't confident in himself, because he wasn't being true to himself. So.
I think he liked to hide in a band. He liked to hide in a band, and whereas now he's picked his band.
Yeah.
and he's very much the guy.
No, so yeah, as I said, we went into Sugar very, very heavily before. So, but no, you couldn't really have American alt rock without adding that album in.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go now to, I don't know if you've heard this one, but these have got to be mentioned. Big in the 80s on the indie circuit, hit the stride in the 90s and then disappeared by the end of it, and it is Dinosaur Jr. And this is the Where You Been album, which is probably the most successful of the 90s. Got a couple of, you start chopping it out there with the bigger songs. Get Me, maybe, that was a single as well. So essentially what had happened was that there were a three-piece in the 80s, with Jay Mascis, obviously. Lou Barlow was the bassist, co-songwriter, vocalist, and you got Murph on drums. Murph's just kind of always been Jay's sidekick, because Jay's a drummer as well by trade, and he's very, very meticulous with his drums, and he very much tells Murph what to play and how to play it. So Murph's I think he just found a perfect foil in somebody that will sit there and go, oh, okay, you tell me then, I'll do it. Murph really hasn't got an ego, he's just happy to just play, so that. But Jay and Lou fell out after Bug in 88, I want to say 89. Lou left and went his whole trajectory of his solo career with Sebadoh and the like. But yeah, Dinosaur reconvened in the early 90s. They did one album called Green Mind, which is pretty much a Jay Mascis solo album. With the kid smoking the cigarette, absolutely awesome sleeve. So Where You Been is the first album where he's recruited a new bassist. Murph's here, and they've just gone again like the Sugar album. The sound on this, the production on this, I can't remember who produced this, but it's proper alternative rock heavy, and it's because Dinosaur Jr. albums are kind of reedy in the 80s, as a lot of bands were, because producers didn't know how to make these things sound.
I remember the earlier ones in the 80s, because I think I bought the book This Band Could Be Your Life, and that's where I first got introduced to them, and I think I bought Bug and whatever the other one is.
You're Living All Over Me?
Yeah, that one. So I remember buying those, and it's very distorted, very, as you said, like it's a noisy album, and he's a bit more screamy on it and less singing. And I think by the time he got to the 90s, he kind of realised he didn't have to go that route. And it is he's got a very lazy singing voice anyway, but he is a bit more tuneful. And then, the guitars are pulled back a little bit. They got some crunch, because he's an amazing guitarist. He is,
and he's got a real way with the melody, songwriting-wise. I'm just looking at this now. It was produced by Jay himself, which makes sense, because he produced a lot of other bands around then. But yeah, this is their first big, proper, chunky sort of alternative rock album, and it's brilliant. His solos all over the fucking shop. He's probably my favourite guitarist of that era. He never plays anything the same way twice, and he's not considered in what he plays. He just goes off on one, and he can solo for 5-6 minutes when you see him live in a song, and just break back into the song. But it's never like, oh God, here's another solo. It's just part of his playing, and it's just so chaotic and willfully almost out of tune, but not. He just goes, it's all pure feeling and emotion. He just feels his way around the fretboard. And you get a lot of that on here. It sounds superb. And this is probably his best bunch of songs as a collection. From the 90s. Green Mind has some great stuff on it. It's kind of acoustic and a bit more lighter. Yeah, this is just dense and chunky. Some great riffage on it.
There's another one which I think it broke through into the college radio, so then it was just sort of everywhere around America. I just remember hearing a lot about them. I didn't really know them, but I just knew the name was always around.
Yeah, and for a while I didn't know the history, because I got on board with this, and I didn't really know I'd seen Green Mind, but I didn't know the 80s stuff at all. I'd never heard of it, because back then they were just called Dinosaur.
Green Mind was the first one I remember seeing the album cover for.
Yeah,
that was absolutely. The one which I always thought, I just remember it being in record stores and everywhere.
Yeah, and it was cool, and in this era they started to use the drawings, I mean, some of these sleeves are atrocious to pair. This one ain't that bad, but the albums that came after this, the sleeves are terrible. But yeah, they're all sort of the words are just all scrawled on them. I'm assuming it's Jay's writing. They look a bit messy, but you know, they're great albums. The two after this are great as well, but not as good.
Well, the next one I know because it's got one of the songs on the Guitar Hero, which made me laugh that it obviously got that much cultural or guitar significance to make it onto that, because that was
I Feel the Pain.
Yeah, that was on Guitar Hero.
Yeah, and a couple of the ones on here. There's Get Me and there's Start Chopping, which are probably people would know if they heard it, but looking at that, you wouldn't know. Sometimes you see a song, you think, I don't know that, and they go, yeah, of course you do, and they put it on, and you go, oh God, that's that. Okay, I understand it, and that's probably it, because these are probably two of the bigger songs of the alternative scene in that era.
I know that Richard Adwardi is a huge fan because he played.
He really is.
A couple of years ago, he got up at the garage and played.
Weird, really weird. Because they reformed in, I want to say 2005 with the original lineup, but they play a lot of the old early songs, but they sound so much better now. And they play sort of a handful of the post-Lou era, like The Wagon and like Out There and Start Chopping. And they've released a few albums since reforming, which are okay. Some are good, some are a bit, but there's a couple of really good ones. But if you can get over Jay's voice. Because I know it's very hit and miss. He just sort of drawls. He's got that whole, they just deemed him as a slacker, sort of stoner sort of thing. That's just the way he is. If you listen to his interviews, that's the way he talks. He's just sounds like he's half asleep, but there's a lot going on up there. He's a dude. I really love Jay.
I don't know if I'm right, but his voice always reminds me a little bit of the fella from Lemonheads.
A little bit. He's got that rich sort of thing. If he let himself go.
Yeah, not too much, just a little bit.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, Dinosaur Jr. You can't talk about that era without talking about that band. Even though, like Sonic Youth, they had a history before them. They very much highlighted that era.
90s, that was very much his time. That's when he was very much in control of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he is still. I mean, Lou's come back, but I'm under no illusion that it's still very much Jay's show.
Cool. We got one last one,
last one I pulled out, and it's at your recommendation, because it's one I forgot about, because I've not listened to it for a while. I've only got the CD, and this is Meantime by Helmet. I was introduced to this. Well, first of all, I kept seeing the sleeve, and I think the sleeve's just awesome. I don't know what it is about it. I just love that sleeve. But the single, Unsung, was just knocked me off my ass. It's just one of my favourite songs that year. It's awesome. So I had to buy it off the strength of that. And although there's nothing that quite touches it, it's a great blast of an album. It's just angry and aggressive.
Yeah.
If you're going to be picky, a lot of it's samey, I'm sure you'll agree, but they do so well. Because they made albums since then, it's the same sort of template, but they're longer, there's more songs, and it's kind of like, you've got a formula, you've kind of killed it now. But on this, it's just perfect.
Because the first album, was it Strap It On? That was a bit more noise rock, I sort of remember. It's
a bit like, like early Therapy, when they went from sort of Baby Teeth through to the more refined stuff on Nurse and that. But Baby Teeth was a bit more feral.
Yeah, I can't remember. Was that Steve Albini or not?
Strap It On. I feel like it might have been.
Yeah, I got that in my head. But I just remember that it was... You could hear what they wanted to do and it wasn't quite there yet, but then they seemed to have just aligned and basically made everything a bit sharper, a bit more condensed in this one. The songs are very... there's no chaff.
I'm just looking at the sleeve. It is Steve Albini.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Which makes sense because it is just, like you say, it's dense. Everything's very airy. There's a lot of breathing room in there.
No, and obviously he was another one who had a lot of influence over this side, because they're talking about Therapy again, like Helmet and like Jesus Lizard, very much within their world, because they end up getting Page Hamilton to play on Trouble Gum, to do a solo and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, because I was very, very late to Helmet, I think. I remember them doing... which song was it? They did one for... Is it Judgment Night? They did the song with House of Pain.
They did. Is it Just Another Victim?
Yeah, it's not exactly the best.
No, but it's chunky. That nice riffage on it.
Yeah, but it's very much a song of two halves. It very much starts with Helmet, and then it just suddenly clunks into House of Pain with their ways. But
with their ways, with their silly ways.
little bit. But no, like the meantime, I said I managed to see them live once in Sydney, and they went and played the whole album start to finish, which was brilliant. But they did it backwards, so it started on the last track and went through to the first, which was finished on in the meantime. But it's chunky. I said that he's an incredibly good guitarist. I like his voice as well, Page Hammerson.
Yeah, because he's either screams or he's got a nice melodious sort of thing going on.
Yeah, and he does do some very weird guitar solos. He's more of a jazz player, isn't he? And then he kind of throws it in.
That's it. He's from a jazz background, isn't he? That's why I think his riffs are a lot sort of challenging, I would say. They sound quite simplistic, but they're kind of... the time signature's kind of off. You look at stuff like Better, that catches me every time. You can't quite follow it, you can't quite catch up with yourself because it's in a funny timing, but it just works so well. Yeah, and he still has the drummer and the original drummer who went on to do Tomahawk and Battles. I can't remember what his name is now. Let me tell you. Well, I've got it I want to say John Stainer, is it? Yeah, that sounds right. John Stainer, that's it. Yeah, and then it's Henry on bass and John Stainer, yes. Who we were only talking about earlier with Poison Idea. But no, I think that original Up to Betty, wasn't it? It was Betty the next one, and then it was Betty was the next one, yeah. Which again, there's great. There's a handful of songs on Betty which are great, but it's overlong. Aftertaste I couldn't get on board with, and every time they do announce a new album, I listen to it and I'm still kind of like, it's not for me. Yeah, I don't think they've ever really come back. Like Aftertaste, they got Cypress Hill to produce it. Okay. Yeah, that was DJ Muggs and stuff, which has got my favourite song on it, Pure. But meantime, it was everywhere. It was another one where it was the heavier side of the alt rock. It was almost metal, almost quite not, but I think it was another one where the videos were all over MTV and God knows what else. So I remember In the Meantime video a lot because that's an aggressive song. But yeah, that was, as I said, they managed in there. It kind of bridged a few different sort of genres, so they were allowed to play the old, like the Lollapaloozas and the more alternative festivals, and they could probably still go and play a metal festival if they wanted to. So they managed to sit in the middle there. A lot of bases. Yeah. So yeah, no, but yeah, there's so many bands around that period coming out of America. It was very influential. I said, and then like obviously Nirvana then kicked off, and then all the ones that came with it. So well, exactly, and that's it. And it was really hard to just pick a few, wasn't it? Exactly, and that's why we kind of picked maybe the more obscure ones, because I don't doubt we're going to come back to this era again. It was cool to pick a couple, a handful from. And they just fell off the shelf so easily. Oh, God, yeah, that one. I could have gone on all day. But, as I say, we'll come back to it. And to think these albums are just all in a 3-year period, and they're still made other albums, and there's still so many other great albums around then that we haven't even touched on. You've still got the big bands, your Nirvanas, even stuff like, God, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, which I don't listen to now, but at the time it's a massive album for me. You got Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, all the usual candidates, but these bubbling under, and they deserve a bit of limelight because they're just part of the picture. They're part of the story. Exactly. And they're worth talking about. So if you haven't got any of these, or you've not listened to them for a long time, go away, have a listen to them, buy them, give the artist a bit of money if you can, and enjoy. Cool. There you go. That was the feature. It's the last bit of the podcast. It's the last part of the show. It's the last bit of our podcast before we have to go. Okay, and welcome back. Obviously, new year, there should be some new things coming out, and I think we've slowly been seeing things getting announced. One of the ones that I was very excited about is the Helicopters. They have finally said they're doing their volume 3 of Cut the Crap, which is basically, they're a bit like your what's it called, Rocket from the Crypts and some of those bands. They're constantly putting out little 7 inches, especially back in their original days. There was the album came out, and then on about 3 or 4 different labels or other places there'd be EPs, singles, cover EPs, tour stuff. Like, they had so much stuff going out, it was almost impossible to like keep up with it and buy it all. So they started doing these compilations. Volumes 1 and 2 were just literally compiling some songs, so they always leaving some off, so the exclusivity of the original EPs are still there, but they would like compile some of the stuff. So they got volume 3 now, which they originally, I think they were going to do it before they split up back in 2008. So this is the 3rd volume. So this is
nothing from since they reformed in 2013, I think, 14. So everything before that. So it's a good little collection. Double album coming out on Nuclear Blast.
Cool.
There's loads of variants. Getting it on lime green or something like that. But no, I was excited about that one. It's nice that they're collecting them together. It's quite cool to go and get these little compilations.
Oh, he does love his helicopters.
I do, and they don't do a bad song, so I'm not really expecting anything that I'm going to hate on this one. So no, I'm looking forward to that one. I did see that they finally, Corrosion Conformity have said they finished their new album.
That's exciting. As a recent convert, that's exciting.
Yeah, so that's meant to be coming out in April, I think I've heard. And it's going to be a double, like a proper old school double album. They said it's a concept one.
Excellent.
A lot of music, so that one's going to be good. It'll be interesting to see. They've not really done any previews, so you don't really know what to expect. That one's going to be good. I think they're going to be touring that for a while, and I don't think they really do bad albums anymore, so it'll be good. So you really liked? Have you got the last one, No Cross, No Crown, or not?
No, I just bought that one from Raven. Something about God.
Oh, Arms of God
escapes me, and the Arms of God. Which is brilliant. Yeah. I love that. It's such a blast. With albums like that and like the Orange Goblin one, you can't dislike it because there's so much. You've got the riffage, you've got great vocals, you've got the guitar sound brilliant. Every song's like, oh yeah. You can't dislike an album like that. You can't get too heavily involved in, they should have done this, they should have done that, because it's just a blast. And it sounds like it when they're making it. So, yeah, I love that album. Brilliant album.
Cool. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I think I really enjoyed the last one was good. It was the last one with Reed Mullin. It was the original drummer. So this has got the same drummer who did Your Arms of God, Stanton.
Yeah.
John Stanton. I could be wrong. But, yeah, no, he's a great drummer. So it should be interesting to go and see what that one sounds like. I'm expecting their usual quite sound... what's it called? Riffy sound.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm excited about that one. I always enjoy a good Corrosion Conformity one.
Did you ever do Crowbar?
No, I've never really got into them. I know one album by them. I think there was one which was produced by Phil Ansamo, because he's big mates with them all. But no, I've never really ventured too far into them.
I obviously only mentioned them because they're both in Down. We'll come to that in a sec, but I've got the first Crowbar album, Broken Glass. It is awesome. Okay. It really is awesome. It's so dense. It's worth a listen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really heavy. Really, it's one of the heaviest albums I've got, to be honest. Really worth a listen. But going to Down, who they've said they're going to be doing a new album this year. It was in the same news as Corrosion of Conformity, wasn't it?
I think they're saying September time or something. So obviously,
but the only thing I've taken from that is I think as much as I love Down, I do love Down. I'm much more looking forward to a new Corrosion album. I'll worry about a Down album.
Yeah. I think it's one of those ones like the Corrosion. I think they're always out and about sort of stuff, and they're still doing things. Down used to always just come in, go out, come in, go out. So whether they do something and it's brilliant, wait and see, really. But wait and see. So it's nice that they've got Kirk back.
Yeah, totally.
Hopefully.
Totally. His beard just fits. As a row of beards and things, it's perfect. The other guy had a weird beard. I wasn't entirely happy with that.
A weird beard. I think he looks a bit more hickish.
Well, he had the thing with it was the beard and no moustache, and it's like, no, it's one or the other or both.
No, I think Scott Ian's potentially the only one. But I think the other bloke, I think the way he had the beard, he went all the way down to the back, so it was very...
Yeah, it's weird.
He should be chewing straw or something.
Yeah, that's it. He did look like something that's kind of like Amish or something. Yeah, somewhere. You wouldn't want to be in a dark room with him because he's probably got some weird religious beliefs and things. I don't know. I'm absolutely completely ad-libbing here, but he seems like a bit of a backward American dude. So he keeps pitchfork by the bed sort of thing. Yeah, and I'm sure he's a lovely man.
But he's now the bassist in Corrosion Conformity.
I love that man. It's a lovely fella. I love his beard.
Oh dear. But yes. So now they're two ones. I think the only other thing I'm really seeing is obviously this year seems to be a bit of a thrash, old school thrash resurgence, because obviously you've got your Megadeth in a couple of weeks. And then I think Exodus and Anthrax have both said that their new albums are done and will be out this year as well. Mm-hmm. The Exodus one, I like Exodus. I'll wait and see. They got the second, or what was his name, third vocalist back, so wait and see how it is with him. I preferred him to that Steve. Oh.
And your dog seems to have a lot to say.
What's it saying? So the
Exodus.
No, so they basically now have got the third vocalist back. So we'll wait and see what this one's like. I think he suits their style a bit more. He's a bit more aggressive, less whiny like the other bloke. And then Anthrax, I'm always excited about a new Anthrax album because I'm a massive, massive fan. So this will be the third one with Joey back. They've been recording it for, I don't even know how long. The last album...
It's been a long time, isn't it?
The last album came out just before we moved back to the UK, so that's 2016. So it's been, 9 years? Almost 10 years?
Is Frank Bellows still in the band?
Yeah, still the bassist.
Oh, he is.
So it's everybody now.
I will give it a cursory listen, to be honest, but I've not listened to it for a long... I've not listened to any new Anthrax for many years, so I will give it a listen. See if they surprise me.
I'm a big fan. The last album didn't quite get me as much as worship music and the stuff before. I was a big fan of the Bush era, but Joey was the sort of the first ones I heard. So we need to go and have a proper discussion about Persistence of Time, because I love that album.
We do. It is a good album.
Yeah, but no. So that was it, really. I think it'd be interesting to see what these old school thrash people come out with. So they all seem to be doing very well. I think Anthrax, they're very lucky that their drum, and especially Exodus, I think their drummers can still play, which I think if they were the ones who were struggling, you'd know it quite quickly. Like everyone has a go at Lars because he sounds like he's struggling along, but as long as the drummer can still play, I think those bands can still keep going.
Yeah, we're in a golden patch with them, with some of them, because these bands are still putting out albums just as good now as they were in the 80s and sort of early 90s, but there's going to be a limit because they're all in their 60s now.
Yeah,
and it's like surely you're not going to get, for example, a Testament album when they're 70.
Yeah.
I can imagine it in Metallica because it's Metallica.
Yeah.
But these other bands, what's their shelf life? But we shouldn't question it. We should just enjoy what they're doing at the minute because they're putting some good shit out, all of them.
Exactly. So yeah, that one I'm very excited about. So I can go and see. Hopefully we'll start getting some news. There'll probably be a new single out soon, I'd imagine. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on those ones. Apart from that, as I said, it's early in the year and we'll have to see what's coming up. I'm sure there'll be a lot more to talk about.
Well, I've got the Alice in Chains box set coming, hopefully the end of the month, if not early Feb, so very excited for that. And more news when we get it.
Yeah, so that's us. Hope everyone had a wonderful new year and welcome back, and hopefully we can do lots of new features for you and just talk more bollocks, and you're going to have to put up with it because it's tough.
And we hope work's not too painful when you go back.
Exactly. All right. Well, time to go. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
You heard it online, and you think there's no rival. You want it for your collection, but have you heard it on vinyl?